or you look so grown up and unlike yourself. I'm quite afraid of you, he said, fumbling at his glove button. Fumbling. How absurd of you. The girls dressed me up for fun, and I rather like it. Wouldn't Jo stare if she saw me? Said Meg, bent on making him say whether he thought her improved or not. Yes, I think she would, returned Laurie gravely. Don't you like me so? Asked Meg. No, I don't, was the blunt reply. Why not? In an anxious tone. He glanced at her frilled head, bare shoulders, and fantastically trimmed dress with an expression that abashed her more than his answer, which had not a particle of his usual politeness about it. I don't like fuss and feathers. That was altogether too much from a lad younger than herself, and Meg walked away, saying petulantly, petulantly, "You are the rudest boy I ever saw." White dress gave her an uncomfortable making a fool of that little girl. I wanted you I wanted you to see her, but comfortable and ashamed of myself. Oh. She leaned her forehead on the cool pan of pain and stood half hidden by the curtains, never minding that her favourite song had begun, till someone touched her, and turning, she saw Laurie looking penitent, as he said, with his very best bow and his hand out, "Please forgive my rudeness, and come and dance with me. I'm afraid it will be too disagreeable to you," said Meg, trying to look offended and failing entirely. "Not a bit of it. I'm dying to do it. Come, I'll be good. I don't like your gown, but I do think you are just splendid." And he waved his hands as if words failed to express his admiration. Meg smiled and relented and whispered as they stood waiting to catch the time. "Take care, my skirt. My skirt didn't trip you up. It is the plague of my life. And I was a goose to wear it. Pin it around your neck, and then it will be useful," said Laurie, looking down at the little blue boots, which he evidently approved of. Away they went, fleetly and gracefully, for having practised at home, they were well matched, and the blithe young couple were a pleasant sight to see. I like this one. As they twirled merrily round and round, feeling more friendly than ever after their small tiff. "Laurie, I want you to do me a favour, will you?" said Meg, as he stood funneling her when her breath gave out, which it did very soon, though she would not own why. "Won't I?" said Laurie, with alacrity. Alacrity. "Please don't tell them at home about my dress tonight. They won't understand the joke, and it will worry Mother." "Then why did you do it?" said Laurie's eyes so plainly that Meg hastily added, "I shall tell them myself all about it, and confess to Mother how silly I've been, but I'd rather do it myself, so you'll not tell, will you?" "I give you my word I won't. Only what shall I say when they ask me?" "Shall say I looked pretty well, and was having a good time." "I'll say the first with all my heart, but how about the other? You don't look as if You were having a good time, are you? And Laurie looked at her with an expression which made her answer in a whisper, "No, not just now. Don't think I'm horrid. I only wanted a little fun." Horrid? Yeah. But this sort doesn't pay, I find, and I'm getting tired of it. Here comes Ned Moffat. What does he want? Said Laurie, knitting his black brows as if he did not regard his young host in the light of a pleasant addition to the party. He put his name down for 3 dances, and I suppose he's coming for them. What a bore, said Meg, assuming a languid, languid, what is this? A languid air which amused Laurie immensely. He did not speak to her again till supper time, when he saw her drinking champagne with Ned's friend Fisher, who were behaving like a pair of fools. As Laurie said to himself, for he felt a brotherly sort of right to watch over the marchers and fight their battles whenever a defender was needed. You'll have a splitting headache tomorrow if you drink that stuff. I wouldn't I wouldn't make. Your mother doesn't like it, you know, he whispered, leaning over her chair as Ned turned to refill her glass, and Fisher stopped to pick up her fan. I'm not Meg tonight, am I, doll? Who does all sorts of crazy, or I shall put away my fuss and feathers and be desperately good again, she answered with an affected little laugh. Wish tomorrow was here, then, muttered Laurie, walking off ill pleased at the change he saw in her. Meg danced and flirted, chattered, and giggled, as the other girls did. After supper, with her long meditated a lecture, but he got no chance to deliver it, for Meg kept away from him till he came to say good night. Remember, she said, trying to smile, for the splitting headache had already begun. Silence, a la mort, replied Laurie with a melodramatic flourish as he went away. This little bit of by-play excited Annie's curiosity, but Meg was too tired for gossip, and went to bed feeling as if she had been to a masquerade and hadn't enjoyed herself as much as she expected. She was sick all the next day, and on Saturday went home quite used up with her fortnight's fun, and feeling that she had sat in the lap of luxury long enough. It does seem pleasant to be quiet and not have company manners on all the time. Home is a nice place, though it isn't splendid, said Meg, looking about her with a restful expression as she sat with her mother and Joe on the Sunday evening. I'm glad to hear you say so, dear, for I was afraid home would seem dull and poor to you after your fine quarters, replied her mother, who had given her many anxious looks that day, for motherly eyes are quick to see any change in children's faces. All right. Meg had told her adventures cheerfully and said over and over what a charming time she had had, but something still seemed to weigh upon her spirits. And when the younger girls were gone to rest, I thought discreetly, "Of course not. Don't I always tell you everything?" I was ashamed to speak of it before the children, but I want you to know all the dreadful things I did at the Moffats. We are prepared," said Mrs. March, smiling, but looking a little anxious. "I told you they dressed me up, but I didn't tell you that they powdered and squeezed and frizzled and made me look like a fashion plate. Laurie thought I wasn't proper. I know he did, though he didn't say so. And one man called me a doll. I knew it was silly, but they flattered me and said I was a beauty and quantities of nonsense. So I let them make a fool of me." "Is that all?" asked Joe, as Mrs. March looked slyly at the downcast face of her pretty daughter and could not find it in her heart to blame her little follies. "No. I drank champagne and romped and tried to flirt and was altogether abominable," said Meg, reproachfully. "There's something more, I think," and Mrs. March smoothed the soft cheek, which suddenly grew rosy as Meg answered slowly. "Very silly, but I want to tell it because I hate to have people." She told the fairies that such idea isn't the greatest rubbish I've ever heard. Such ridiculous stuff. The idea of having plans and being kind to Laurie because he's rich and may marry us by and by. Won't he shout when I tell him what those silly things say about us poor children?" And Joe laughed as if on second thoughts. The thing struck her as a good joke. "As you can," said Mrs. March gravely. "I was these vulgar ideas about young people. I can, where am I? I am more sorry than I can express for the mischief this visit may have done you, Meg." Again, this one. Wow. "Don't be sorry, I won't let it hurt me. I'll forget all the bad and remember only the good. For I did enjoy a great deal, and thank you very much for letting me go. I'll not be sentimental for dissatisfied. I know I'm a silly little girl, and I'll stay with you till I'm fit to take care of myself. But it is nice to be praised and admired, and I can't help saying I like it," said Meg, looking half ashamed of the confession. "That is perfectly natural and quite harmless, if the liking does not become a passion and lead one to do foolish or unmaidenly things. Learn to know and value the praise which is worth having, and to excite the admiration of excellent people by being modest as well as pretty, Meg." Margaret sat thinking a moment while Jo stood with her hands behind her, looking both interested and a little perplexed, for it was a new thing to see Meg blushing and talking about admiration, lovers, and things of that sort, and Jo felt as if during that fortnight her sister had grown up amazingly and was drifting away from her into a world where she could not follow. "Mother, do you have plans, as Mrs. Moffat said?" asked Meg bashfully. "Yes, my dear, I have a great many. All mothers do, but mine differ somewhat from Mrs. Muffats, I suspect. I will tell you some of them, for the time has come when a word may set this romantic little head and heart of yours right on a very serious subject. You are young, Meg, but not too young to understand me, and mothers' lips are the fittest to speak of such things to girls like you. Joe, your turn will come in time, perhaps. So listen to my plans and help me carry them out if they are good. Joe went and sat on one arm of the chair, looking as if she thought they were about to join in some very solemn affair, holding a hand of each and watching the two young faces wistfully. Mrs. March said in her serious yet cheery way, I want my daughters to be beautiful, accomplished, and good, to have the happy, sweetest thing which can happen to a woman. And I sincerely hope my girls may know this beautiful experience. It is natural to think of it, Meg, right to hope and wait for it, and wise to prepare for it, so that when the happy time comes, you may feel ready for the duties. And my dear girls, I am ambitious for you, but not to have you, and when well used, a noble thing, but I never want you to think it was the first or only prize to strive for. I'd rather see you poor men's wives, if you were happy, beloved, contented, than queens on thrones without self-respect and peace. Poor girls don't stand my chance, Belle says, unless they put themselves forward, sighed Meg. Then we'll be old maids, said stoutly. Stoutly. As a word. Right, Joe. Better be happy old maids than unhappy wives or unmaidenly girls running about to find husbands, said Mrs. March decidedly. Don't be troubled, Meg. Poverty seldom daunts a sincere lover. Some of the best and most honoured women I know were poor girls, but so love-worthy that they were not allowed to be old maids. Leave these things to time. Make this home happy, so that you may be fit for homes of your own if they are offered you. And both of us trust and hope that our daughters, whether married or single, will be the bride and comfort of our lives. We will, Mammy, we will, cried both, with all their hearts as she bade them good night.